This is section 3.1, section C. You have probably been taught somewhere along the line that any number a to the 0 power is equal to 1, and that's actually true as long as a is not 0. The idea of 0 to the 0 power is actually a pretty complicated mathematical structure. It's something that you can't really learn much more about until you get into calculus, interestingly enough. All right, we maybe have been taught that, we maybe even believe it, but I'd like us to go ahead and construct a convincing mathematical argument that shows that 2 to the 0 power is equal to 1. Why should that be true? I'm going to argue based on a pattern. Let's go ahead and write down the powers of 2, from 2 cubed down through 2 to the 0 power. 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 2 squared is 4. 2 to the first is 2. And if for right now we say, well, gosh, I'm not really quite sure what makes the most sense there for 2 to the 0, but I'm going to decide, looking at the pattern. What pattern do you see in these values as we come down? Do you notice that every time it's being cut in half or divided by 2? 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So if I were going to continue that pattern, 2 divided by 2 would indeed have to be 1. And there's one mathematical argument, at least, that shows, at least by pattern, that 2 to the 0 does seem to need to be 1. Do you believe that our argument holds for all possible values of a? Well, really it would. Because if you think about what's going on, to go from a cubed to a squared, you'd be dividing by a to the first, right? And to go from a squared to a to the first, again, you'd be dividing by a. So if we do this one more time, a divided by a really does equal 1. And so that same pattern is going to work. Except, remember what we said here? This only works if a is not 0. This is why right here. That argument won't work if I'm dividing by an a value of 0. We're not allowed to divide by 0, right? So there's our argument, and again, it shows exactly why we can't use it when a is 0. Working with exponents of 0 is actually very simple. It doesn't matter how complicated a structure you have inside those parentheses. If we raise it to the 0 power, we're going to get 1.